Hi, and thank you for listening. This is Sherry Andrea, and you can find me at sherryspeaks.com. I always forget to do this, so let me say this right off. Um, Remember to like this video, and also if you have not subscribed yet, please do subscribe. Hit the little bell, and so you'll make sure that you'll be notified every time I upload a video or I'm doing a live or something. Like I said, you can find me at sherryspeaks.com, where you can find 80 plus attunements starting at $2.50. Also, don't forget there is the custom certificate maker, where you can make let's say almost any certificate you want, and you're able to put the information in as far as the name, and also the title. So let's say it's a certificate for Violet Flame Reiki, and you don't want it to say just practitioner. Okay, well, you're the one that's choosing that. You can either have it say, type in practitioner, you can type in master, you pretty much anything. You can type in master of the flame if you want to, and then you'll put in who is the master that attuned you, so that if it was me, you would put my name. If it wasn't me, don't put my name. Try your best to search for who attuned you. Sometimes people do have to get reattuned because they've lost the information. They don't have the original certificate. They don't remember who that was that attuned them. They can't find it in their email, or on their computer. And they really need to be able to show that they were attuned and have a certificate that has the authentic, true information, just in case some organization you're joining decides to check. Okay, so the certificate maker makes the beautiful certificates. They beautiful graphics and everything, so they're not plain, and it's only $1.75. So even if you're tuning somebody and you need a certificate to give to them, you can use it for that purpose. Also, don't forget the psychic readings are still on sale, $15 for 30 minutes. Also, there are the energy clearings. If you order the one on the website, that one's not done by phone. That one is $25, and they're the same. It's the same as the one by phone, with the exception that you're not on the phone with me at the time that I do it, but I'm still doing the same thing. So it's still the same effectiveness and everything. It's just you're not getting ready. You're not being able to hear the feedback my higher self is giving me. You're not being able to hear from me what I'm seeing, how I'm seeing it, where it's coming from, where it's at, what I went through when I went to remove it. Did it remove easily? Did it take some doing? Was it tough to remove? So you're just not privy to hearing me talk about those things as I do it. So the one on the website is $25, and then from the navigation menu on the website, you'll see the other one, and they're clearly marked. So the one that is by phone, where you schedule it with me and everything, that one's $35. So it still doesn't cost too much. Look, there are tons of people out there that are doing what I do. However, they're not effective, and they're charging a lot of money. They're charging anywhere from $150 and up. So my cost of $35 is reasonable for what you're getting and what it can do and what it can remove. It should be the other way around. I should be the one charging a lot of money, and the other people who's charging a lot but not effective, they're the ones that should be charging like $10. Because I've been hearing from some of you that have called me that have gotten energy clearance and things, and it's very rare for me to hear about a healer or energy worker that is effective. I've only heard about people who are effective a handful of times. Most of the time, what I hear from people is one, they didn't feel anything when they know they have the ability to feel something, because they often always feel energy. The other thing that I hear is that their problem, no matter how complex or how simple, is not resolved. It wasn't removed. And it's funny that they always say that the person always gives them some random excuse of why. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's just because it's probably going to take longer. It's probably going to, take maybe up to 3 months. No, it's not. But a lot of these people aren't, admitting to you that they weren't effective. Of course, you can't always be effective, because there are some times that you cannot clear something. Like, for example, if you come to me and you have a specific problem, you have fibromyalgia. I know I use that as an example a lot, don't I? I don't know why. But you have fibromyalgia and you want that removed. You don't want to have that anymore. Or some other autoimmune disorder. Well, I may not be able to remove it. Why? And that's not a matter of how effective the person is. It is possible it's not supposed to be removed because it plays into some lesson, something you're supposed to learn in this lifetime. If it does, I can't remove it, because that was a part of something that you had to go through and had to learn from. So there are instances where there isn't anything I can do. I mean, I've had that with pets too, where, I've worked on people's pets, and yes, temporarily I made them better, I made them more comfortable, but maybe they still died. Why? Because, check this out, sometimes it's not even about your pet. Sometimes it was about that you were supposed to learn the lesson of closure, being able to move on. You were supposed to be learning that lesson. So sometimes in the end, after, the pet has died, I'm broken up and crying, you're broken up and crying. That's what it's all about. The healing, my work does it like in there. It's not like, oh, okay, well, your pet died. So, well, maybe talk to you sometime in the future. No, that's when the work is just beginning. That is when, we talk about it, and we talk about it, and we discuss it, and we have conversations that are leading to you healing from loss and you learning how to properly deal with loss and attachment. I watched this TV show one time, and as he's driving one of my favorite dream cars, a Maserati, he's going, I'm not attached to this car. I'm not attached to this car. And then he goes, I'm a little bit attached to this car. But we're supposed to be learning those things. We're supposed to be learning how to not have attachments, how to not have that baggage that we can't let go of. Hey, there are some people, I had a friend one time that had this beautiful baby grand piano, and she wanted to move from where she was at, and she hadn't managed to move in years. Why? It was that baby grand piano. And she had said to me, why does it seem like I keep attracting friends who are hoarders? She goes, because I'm not a hoarder. And I go, but are you? And she's like, well, no, I think I would know if I was a hoarder. I said, well, let's break down the definition of hoarding. That just means that you're holding on to things and unable to let them go. But the definition of hoarder doesn't mean that you have to have your whole house filled with stuff. Doesn't mean that it has to be stacks of newspaper stacked to the ceiling. It's not, the definition of hoarding isn't specific. It's not, oh, you're only a hoarder if you have a certain amount of stuff. You can have one item that you're holding on to and you just can't let go of that makes you a hoarder. And so when she realized that, I was just like, it's that piano. You've been letting that piano hold you back from being able to move because, one, it's difficult to move. It's costly to move. Even if you didn't want to take it with you, what are you going to do with it? So you know what? We worked on that. And she Finally, it was like so weird. Near where she lived, she happened to walk by, like this music store that not only sold pianos, musical instruments, but they also did it by consignment. And she said to me, she was like, "How did I never see that place before? How did I not never notice that before?" And there it was. And there was a solution to her problem of the piano. And it was such an easy solution. They actually came and got it. She didn't even have to worry about like the cost of moving it or anything. So it actually ended up being an easy solution. Okay, sorry. I had to I had to mute myself because I had to cough. Um okay, so anyway, I've rambled enough. So let me get right to it. First of all, I want to tell you that on my website, I created a page that has notes for this video. So if you want to go there, you want to print it out, so that you can jot your own notes on it as well, you can do that. Also, I'm going to also put the video on that page as well, so that anybody that comes across the page but didn't come across this video on YouTube, they'll still see the video and see the notes and everything. So and I wanted to do that because I'm like, okay, nobody's going to remember all this stuff that I'm going to say and then I'm going to go over, and I also don't want to take too long. Okay, so let's get started. I have to actually let me look at those notes so that I can go along with them. Okay, the first thing is, the reason why I'm doing this video is somebody did ask me the question the other day in a comment on the video I made yesterday. That was wait, I'm trying to remember the name of the video from yesterday, but anyway, this came from a question that a person asked about doing energy work by way of a Reiki box, basically Proxy. Hold on. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So we're talking about a proxy, right? That's basically what it's called, is when you do energy work, healing, whatever, and you're doing it by proxy, which basically just means you're using something or some item to stand for the person. Okay, so some people, like, say for example, they're gonna do distance Reiki, and instead of having to imagine the person standing before them, and having to like do energy work on an invisible person, you know what I mean? And instead, they would rather do it by proxy, meaning they could use a box, for example. I'm just going to name some of the things they could use, and then I'm going to explain them. They could use a box, a teddy bear, a doll, a rock, a list of names, a basket with names in it, even something on the wall like a dry erase board that they're either adding names to, or they're erasing and adding the names, and anything. What can you think of? Be creative. What can you come up with? I'm determined not to cough in you guys' ear. Okay, so sorry. Okay, for the box, I mean, it's a simple idea. We're talking about, you can get a box. What kind of box? It doesn't really matter. It could be a cardboard box. It could be decorative. It could be some decorative box. It could be a bin. It could be a dollar store small bin. Um, hey, it could be a garbage can that has a lid on it. One of them small little mini garbage cans that have a lid on. It literally could be anything that you're going to be designating as using for this purpose. And then the idea is that you're going to put, you're maybe going to have pieces of paper that you're going to write a name on. Maybe you'll write just their name. Maybe you'll write their name and their like location, like city and state or country. This could be a teddy bear or a doll. And you might ask the question, okay, well, how do I make it clear that this teddy bear and this doll represents this person? A couple of different ways. Of course, you could still write their name on a piece of paper and just get a safety pin and pin it to the teddy bear or the doll. Then, okay, don't forget though, as let's say you're giving them healing or a clearing. As you're doing it and you're pretending that the teddy bear or doll is them, you're doing the same thing that you would do to them. So one, normally doing a distance attunement, you're intending and you're imagining that it's them. Now, some of you are still working on the trust issue. How do I know it's really going to work? You know, that's always the question. Yeah, I'm saying it's them. I'm intending it to be them. How do I know it's really going to work? This is what I used to always tell myself and remind myself. My higher self doesn't make mistakes. Even when people ask me that, well, are you sure? You sure you have me? You sure you didn't get somebody? You sure you're not connecting to somebody else? My higher self doesn't make mistakes. And if my higher self is pulling information about another person, it's intentional. It's because that's a part of, maybe even when I do psychic readings, that's a part of the answer to the question you're asking me. But your higher self doesn't make mistakes. Your higher self is that part of your energy that is still on the other side that is infallible. You're so used to being on this side, incarnate in the body with ego. You're so used to being fallible that you can't even imagine a part of yourself being infallible. But in fact, your higher self, who is you, that energy that stayed over on the other side, because not all of your energy, when you incarnated, not all of it incarnates. Part of it stays on the other side. Okay, so that's you on the other side, your higher self. Your higher self is the infallible part of yourself. It is not tainted by this world. It is not tainted by negative ego. It's not tainted by anything. It's still over there, sitting over there, pure, knowing everything, having memory of everything, not being affected by the veil, So when you ask the question, well, how do I know it worked? The real question is, what's up with you that you don't trust yet? And don't you think you should work on that before you call yourself fully ready to be doing energy work and clearings for people? Now, I'm not saying don't start before you develop this trust, but I'm saying just remember and keep in the back of your mind, this is an important part to learn and kind of get under your belt before you move forward too much. And the other thing that was asked was about using like the violet flame, and I'm going to say using the violet flame, crystals, herbs, etc. And I'll use examples, okay? The box. Maybe you're going to use a box and you're going to put names in it. Okay, well, so when you go to either Reiki, just do energy work on it, even if you're not using Reiki, clear somebody, clear all the people whose names are in that box. Okay. You can ask your higher self. This is what I'm just saying what I would do, but you have to use your own creativity. I would ask my higher self, fill and surround the box with the violet flame. Attune to, what am I going to attune it to? Black tourmaline, citrine, amethyst. What are you guided or inspired to attune it to? After asking that, I would visualize seeing the box surrounded by violet light or violet flame. Some people don't like using a flame, they prefer to use light. So either one you want to do is effective. I would see it surrounded by violet light for few moments. I'm talking maybe 10 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds. I'm going to visualize it. Now, of course, the longer you hold a visual, the more effective it is. So, hey, if you want to hold that visual for a full minute, you can. Go with what you feel guided to do. So, that's one way you can incorporate using the violet flame when you're using a proxy. So if it was a teddy bear, I'd be asking my higher self, surround and fill this teddy bear with the violet flame attuned to whatever. Now, if you're asking me, well, Sherry, using a proxy with the clearings you do by phone, how would you do that same thing if you were using a teddy bear or a doll? I would do the same thing. I would write the name, I would pin it to the doll, and then I would tell my higher self, this doll right now represents such and such a person. Please help me to do their clearing, their energy work, their healing, whatever. That's how it would start. And then, I have no issue. I have no, how would I put it? I am not doubtful that my higher self hears me. If you are, you could use your body as a pendulum and just ask your higher self, can you help me do this? And when your body sways forward and back, that's your answer. Your higher self is telling you, yeah, absolutely, let's do this. The angels and ascended masters, it's not optional. They don't, when it's like, okay, can you help me to give healing to somebody? This isn't like option. They don't tell you like, no, sorry, can't right now. I got to run to the store. No, the answer is kind of always yes. It's always yes. You're going to have to get that in your mind. This isn't like dealing with another human person. They always have the time for you, of course, which reminds me of, and I will talk about that for a second too in a little bit. Multiple instances. Hold on, I'm writing myself a note so I don't forget. As you know, if any of you who have done the energy clearing with me on the phone know that I use instances when it comes to working with the angels and ascended masters. I use them in multiple instances. And that's something that you'll learn if you get the clearing by phone. You will learn about this technique that I use and why my clearings and my energy work is so effective, why it's so much energy involved, and why it's so powerful and effective. Okay, so that's kind of what I would do. I would, like, say, for example, like when I'm doing a clearing and I ask Archangel Michael to remove all attachments. Okay, so I'm looking at the doll, and now I'm asking Archangel Michael, please remove all attachments from. I'm still going to use the person's name, but I'm letting the doll represent the person as though they're sitting in front of me. Now, when it comes to the part where I'm doing a clearing and I say, okay, now I'm filling you with pure life force energy from my higher self, the visual I'm using is I'm imagining my higher self kind of standing behind me, flowing energy into my heart, through my chest and back out, up and into their crown, and then filling them up like a cup and then overflowing them, and like literally covering them, right? Okay, well, I'm still doing that. I'm just using the doll. Now, I'm so used to not using anything and just using visualization. and visualization works really well for me. But this is using a proxy is something that you can do in the meantime as you're learning to make it a little bit easier for you. A list of names. I've heard of people who offer attunements for free, and they always have so many people they're doing attunements for that they use the list of names method to make it easier. So, and I've used that before too. I've had times when I've been attuning so many people that I was just like, oh boy. And I just got my pen and paper out and wrote all their names down, and I might have like 20 names. Okay, so then when I go to do the attunement, I'm using this piece of paper as the proxy. I'm directing the attunement to the piece of paper. You could use, like I said, a wall, a dry erase board, which would mean like, okay, you have some names written on it, so you're going to be flowing the energy to the dry erase board, right? It represents that. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to say to your higher self, okay, today this dry erase board represents these people whose names I've written on it. If you feel more comfortable and self-assured saying the names out loud, go ahead and read them out loud. Whatever kind of, what would I say, makes you confident in what you're doing. Because that's very important. The more confident you are in what you're doing, the more effective it's going to be. Okay, so I'm trying to think if the person asked me anything else. Basically, do anything to the proxy that you would do if the person was in person. But I still say go with what you're guided to do. The rock, I know you guys are like, yeah, but you got a rock listed as a proxy. Yeah, I mean, remember the pet rocks? I know one of my clients, she was talking about this and how she was explaining to her son, who's grown now and has a family of his own. She was explaining to him the pet rock craze, where people were spending all this money to get in the mail, remember, a small box that had this rock in it. I'm like, oh my gosh. I remember back then I was like, oh my gosh, why can't I come up with ideas like that? Well, I guess I don't, because if I did, it would probably sound silly to me, and I'd be like, nobody's gonna pay me money to give them a rock in a box. Sure did. I mean, I had a pet rock. I used to go outside and collect rocks and paint them and everything, and to have my own pet rocks. You know what I mean? So, yes, this could be something that you end up having a collection of. Maybe you have a aquarium, fish-like aquarium that you're not using, and maybe every time you use a Sharpie and write their name on this rock, and then you by proxy you send energy work to the rock, and once you're done, maybe you'll put the rock in the fish tank and you'll collect them. Wouldn't that be neat to have the person's name and city and state or country on it and have this collection? I think that would be amazing. Like collecting sand from various beaches all around the world. I mean, it would be just as amazing. So use your imagination. What can you think of? What do you want to do? Hey, for that matter, these pieces of paper, you write the person's name on. They don't have to be plain pieces of paper. They can be Post-it notes. They can be, maybe you take the Post-it note and you cut it into the shape of a flower and you write their name on it. Hey, maybe this is going to be something. Maybe you have a board hanging on your wall, like even a cork board, and every time you're done, you get your little push pin and you stick it in the board. And maybe this is going to end up being also wall art. And wouldn't that be amazing? Wall art that has a lot of energy in it. So anyway, Now, but let's talk with working on a friend or a stranger. Okay, already from doing the proxy, we've talked about writing the name on a piece of paper. So, yes, it is about the name. Okay, knowing the name of the person. What I used to always do is get the like city, state, country. But wait a minute, what if somebody emailed you and that you don't really know this person? But like the emails I get sometimes, and maybe they email you and said, "Oh, I've been going through this and that lately, and I don't know what's going on with myself as far as this and that." Guess what? I can send energy to that email to get to them. The email just acts as a proxy. And I've done that so many times before. I've done it. It works very well. Or a picture. So the person also asked me about using a picture. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's still a proxy. Whether you use a picture by itself, and having the picture in their name, or whether you pin the picture onto the doll or the teddy bear, or put the picture with their name like written on the back of the picture, put their picture in the box. Reiki the box. Maybe this box will have several pictures in it of people. But also, I use visualizing a silhouette. Even if I'm like, say I want to attune 50 people, I might have their names written down on a list, but then when I actually go to do their attunement, what am I visualizing? I'm visualizing a crowd. Excuse me. I'm visualizing a crowd of about 50 people, but I see them in silhouette form. Whole bunch of people in silhouette form. No, they're not detailed. I can't see their detail. I can't see this, one's a woman, one's a man. No, I just picture them in silhouette form. However, like say when I flow energy to them, I imagine it coming through me up, and then it kind of offshooting into all of their crowns. So one stream of energy that then breaks off and goes in through all of their crowns and fills them all. So, but keep in mind, I've been visualizing for a long time. So, I've gotten to the point where even complex visualizations have become easy for me. So, how did I get there? Actually, the book, The Human Aura, which has all the decrees in it, often the decrees tell you not just what to say, but how many times to say it and what to visualize while you're saying it. What to see or what to imagine as you're saying it. And some of the instructions for what to visualize were complex. You had to try to hold a visual of 3 different things at the same time. It's like saying, oh, I got to see energy coming into myself, but then I got to see myself also surrounded by gold light, but then I also have to see something coming up through my feet and filling me. Okay, that's a complex visual. You're having to hold a visual of like almost 3 separate things at the same time. Okay, it's difficult when you first start out, but believe me, visualization is a skill. It's something that if you are practicing it every day, you're gonna get really, really good at it. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, the last thing I want to talk to is candle work. Now, there's nothing wrong with candle work. You might say, well, isn't this kind of ritualistic? No, it's not. It's not. A lot of people in history used candles, and not to be ritualistic. They used candles because of a lack of electricity. Yeah, just a simple need to see at night. So was the reason to use candles. They had to see. If you're gonna, like, let's say you're gonna get some girlfriends together from your village and y'all gonna chant decrees, but it's at nighttime. Inside the house at nighttime. Don't you have to see? They still got to see. Are they really going to be like standing in the dark, unable to even see each other, or their hand in front of their face chanting decrees? No, they're gonna light a candle so they have light. They're gonna have several candles lit in the room probably so they have enough light. It's just a simple thing. It doesn't mean more than that. It wasn't a part of a ritual or anything. It was just a need to see. Okay, but candles are very effective when it comes to energy. Okay, for example, the flame of a candle, it can effectively burn up negative energy. You can leave one of those, I forget what they're called, 3-day candles or something, but I buy them at the dollar store, the glass tall pillar candles or skinny tall pillar candles. I buy them because they're pretty safe. I don't have to worry about wax going all over the place or anything. It's contained, and I can leave them burning for however long it takes for the whole thing to burn, 3 or 4 days, without having to worry about a safety issue. So burning that 3 or 4 days, with not only the intention of burning up any energy, negative energy in my atmosphere. I don't have to intend that. That is just what it's going to do. Now remember, why do you use a violet flame? Because the flame is transmutive. The flame is transmutive. It can convert negative energy and transmute it back into positive, clear energy. Okay, that's what the flame is about. Regardless of whether the flame is violet, the flame is this color, the flame is that color, but it's a flame, and the nature of the flame is that it's transmutive. Remember that. So therefore, you can use the candle to represent a specific person. The lighting of the candle is going to activate it because you're going to program it. By programming it, it can be as simple as writing their name on it, getting a post-it note and like writing their name on it and kind of taping it to the glass of the candle. Or if you're actually really using like a candle that's not in glass, like a taper candle or something, you can etch their name on it. You can rub it with essential oil as you pray, chant a decree or a mantra, as you intend and imagine and visualize what burning it will do for them and how it will heal them. Like doing that, rubbing the essential oil on it as you're praying or chanting a decree or mantra, as you picture them in perfect health, or picturing some negative energy leaving them and being released into the atmosphere or something, or into the ground to be transmuted. So the only thing you're restricted by with any of the things I've talked about is your own imagination. If you're wondering, does this work? Does that work? The answer to all those questions is yes. It's whatever you can imagine. But like I tried to remind the person when they said, is this technique best? Get out of the frame of thinking, because some of these Reiki masters that are doing the attunement classes and stuff and actually they're trying to drill stuff into people's heads that are just nonsense, that are meant to make them make more money. Get out of the thinking that, oh, it's one way. Oh, you have to do it this way. Oh, you have to do it that way. Oh, the best way is. That's limited thinking. Does that sound like the thinking of a divine person? Does that sound like the thinking of somebody who has power? If you had so much power, why would you have to be like, oh, no, but it won't work if I do it this way? I thought you were a powerful person. Don't let some of these Reiki masters convince you into something that doesn't even make any sense. If you're supposed to be such a powerful divine person, then why would somebody tell you, oh, but this doesn't work? Oh, but that doesn't work? I say, F you. I'm a powerful person. Whatever I try, whatever I do is effective and it works. So screw you, move over. I ain't got nothing to learn from you because you just showed me that. Start saying that. Start having, this is about just having confidence in yourself as not just an energy worker, not just a Reiki master. Start having confidence in yourself for who your true self is. Your true self is divine and powerful. You were made in his image. You are a part of him. If God is a pie and you take a slice of pie, it's still pie. That is you. So anyway, thank you for listening to me. Oh, I know. I was going to talk about the multiple instances. Okay. So you can still use multiple instances with any of these things I'm talking about. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say you did want to either make a candle or use a store-bought candle and rub the essential oil on it. You can actually program it also to say, whoever burns this candle, let them be surrounded by 100 million instances, 100 million levels deep of Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, Jesus, Mother Mary, White Terra Buddha. So you could actually program it that way so that when the person you give it to lights the candle, and you can go as far as to say, and what is going to happen. So you would say, surrounded by Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, White Terra Buddha, who will give them guidance, healing, protection that they most need at this time in their life. So you can program it, whether you're going to use it yourself or whether you're going to give it to somebody to use. Now, here's the thing. They don't have to know that you've programmed this candle to be healing for them. They don't have to know. I think the best gift is when you don't tell somebody what's extra, extra special about it, because it just proves that you're not doing it with an expectation. You're not doing it with that expectation of, oh my gosh, that candle, you healed me. You're not doing it because you need the pat on the back, because you need to be made to feel special. You're doing it just simply because you want to help them, because you care about them and what happens to them. So yeah, you could give these out during the holidays, dress those candles up, give them out. And you don't have to tell them, oh, this is a special candle. Or do you need to tell them that? Do you need to prove to them that you can do special things? Isn't it enough that you can and that you can help people? Do you need for them to know that to give you the right kind of pat on the back? No, of course not. Just make the candle and be happy with the fact that you're able to do something to help them, and don't worry about them knowing whether or not this is a special candle that will help clear them or heal them or bring abundance into their life. So I hope this video has helped, and it's not unusual. It may bring up more questions. Feel free to ask them in the comment section, because there are tons of examples that I didn't use that you probably can think of. So, feel free if you're like, okay, well, I was thinking about doing this as a proxy or that as a proxy. Do you think it will work, or how would you go about doing that? Okay, feel free to ask. I don't mind. But anyway, I'm going to put the link to the page on my website where I'm putting the notes for this video, just in case you want to kind of print it out and then write your own notes on it as well. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and that you keep diligently practicing. Okay, see you another day. Namaste.